It's all kicked off on X over a tweet about Kemi Badenoch's real name that split the right, or so-called right, in half. The tweet in question reads, "Tories be like, our leader should be the African Olukemi Olufunto Adegoke Badenoch." Now, I think we've all seen spicier tweets than that in our lives. However, it should be said that the guy who made the tweet is a Steve Laws. I don't know too much about him. From what I can gather, he's a hardline remigration campaigner, as well as someone you might say is aligned with the dissident right. I believe this is why one side seems to be saying that this is simply racist and Kemi Badenoch is as British as anybody, and others, while perhaps not agreeing with Steve Laws' political positions, are stating that the tweet isn't inherently racist, but instead is showing up supposed right-wingers as the liberal proto-woke people they really are. Now, this issue gets to the heart of a very interesting fracture on the right. On one side, you have the boomer view, you could call it, the sort of Martin Luther King ideology, judge a man by the content of his character. They view that as the solution to the identity politics of the hard right and the woke left. Then you have people countering that, stating that's an obsolete politics now that doesn't fit with modern times. Second to that, you'll have mainline Tory types who are more than happy to use identity politics when it suits them to take a shot at the left. Case in point, here's Toby Young talking about Kemi Badenoch.
I think because she's a black woman, that gives her a kind of authority and credibility.
Then you have the flip side of the fracture, where people are questioning if Kemi Badenoch is truly British. I saw a video on History Debunked a few days ago where Simon, the host there, was speaking about how she's a product of supposed birth tourism. Now, I can't confirm that, but when you look at her Wikipedia, her early life was spent in Nigeria despite being born in London. Despite being born in the UK, she also stated in her maiden speech in Parliament that to all intents and purposes, she is a first-generation immigrant. Now, it's seen as an extremely rude social faux pas, even racist these days, to assume that somebody who's a first immigration immigrant to Britain isn't as British as, say, Fred Dibner. But then wouldn't the equivalent be to say, via some twist of fate, if Jacob Rees-Mogg was born in Lagos, Nigeria, and then returned there at 16, he'd be as Nigerian as, say, JJ Okocha the footballer or Burna Boy the Nigerian rapper? Another issue some are concerned with regarding Kemi Badenoch is the problem of split loyalties via having dual nationality. This issue reared its head again with another prominent politician in the UK, that's David Lammy, the present Foreign Secretary. Lawrence Fox says here, "Call me old-fashioned, but I think the British Foreign Secretary should be British, not Caribbean," referencing this famous video.
"I'm afraid, as Caribbean people, we are not going to forget our history. We don't just want to hear an apology, we want reparation."
Now, as you can see on your screen here, some people have got very upset by this. They believe, despite Lammy clearly strongly identifying with his Caribbean heritage and being a second-generation migrant, is as British as anybody else because he was born in London. Now, it is odd here that he's calling for reparations as the British Foreign Secretary. I mean, who's he calling for reparations from? Himself. Further to that, the reparations demands are completely insane when you look at them. Some of them run well into the trillions and completely ignore the actions of the British in stamping out the global slave trade, as well as building the modern world on the back of its empire. In essence, there's no doubt that there were sins regarding the British Empire, but we've already paid back more than enough. But do you think David Lammy thinks like that? Now, you'll have to let me know down below where you fall on this debate, but it is interesting that something seems to be moving on the right. There's either going to be mass change or there's going to be mass cancellations on social media so the establishment liberals regain control of the narrative. Do let me know what you think down below. Do consider subscribing to the channel.